Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and in today's video I want to show you how to fly a DME arc procedure manually. Now, I'm using the Flight Sim Studios Boeing 727 on this one, but this procedure is going to work in any aircraft, regardless whether it's an A380 or a Cessna 152. So, our procedure today is going to be the Apollo 1 Bravo arrival for the VOR approach runway 27 in Heraklion Airport in Greece. Now, we are starting at Apollo, which is 24 DME on the radial 335 outbound from Heraklion VOR. And that radial is what we're currently tracking into, and you can see we're 28 miles from the station, so we're about to start joining our DME arc. Now, what's most important over here is that you get the interception correct. So, how are we gonna fly it? You can see at 21 DME, the chart tells us to start turning onto the arc. And from here on, we got to start with a little bit of a guesstimation. So, in order to intercept the arc, we basically need to put our right-hand wing exactly onto the station on which the turn is based. So this basically means in order to track our arc properly, we need to make a 90-degree turn to the left over here at first. So 155 is the inbound track, that means 065 is going to be the track that we want to fly at first. And I am going to set my heading buck exactly on 065 right now. The next important thing is that you have a decent speed, so you don't want to do this procedure at, let's say, 300 knots. You want to fly something sensible. So, approaching 21 DME, which is our turning point over here, let's go ahead and set our autopilot into heading select mode, so that it starts flying itself onto the arc. Now, how are we going to navigate within the arc? Well, basically, you will not be able to track the arc exactly precisely the entire time. Much rather, what we want to do is a little approximation. So, once we have established ourselves on the arc, we are going to first fly a little bit inside the arc. So let's say not 19 DME, but maybe 18.5 DME. And then we're just going to maintain a track that leads us slightly back outwards. And once we're at about 19.5 DME, make a right-hand turn again so that you get back to 18.5, then a left, and so on. So the important part for us over here is that we control where our right wing is located. So you can see now we've reached 18 nautical miles. If we now look at our RMI, we can see that we have slightly overshot the turn over here. So the pointer is not located exactly on the right, but a little bit further backwards. Now, if the tip of the needle is located slightly backwards, that means we are going to track outbound from our DME again. So our DME is going to get greater. You can see this over here as the distance is somewhat increasing once again. We're going to keep this increasing until we have reached something like 19.5 or maybe even a bit more, like 20. You should remain within 1 nautical mile of the advised number. So we let the DME increase, and once we've done that, we're going to make a right-hand turn again, so that the tip of the needle is going to be exactly at 90 degrees from the right. Then our DME is going to maintain constant, or we can move the tip of a needle a little bit to the front of the 90-degree position, so let's say, for example, 80 degrees to the right, and then our DME is going to become smaller once again. And like that, we can track our DME arc pretty precisely. So let's have a look at this right now. We're approaching about 20 nautical miles, so let's make a right-hand turn here. And let's say we want to go 35 degrees to the right. So now I'm moving my needle back forward again, and we'll take it through the 90-degree position, because we're now at 20 miles. And once it is through the 90-degree position, the DME is going to get smaller again. And like that, we are basically tracking along our arc now, but ensuring that we are flying level segments every now and then, which is a little approximation that you can do in order to make sure that, you know, you don't have to fly a constant bank angle, which you basically cannot achieve manually. An autoflight system could do that, manually we can't. Okay, so here we go. The needle is now in front of the 90-degree position again, and with that, our DME is once again going to get smaller. Now next up we got to determine when we are actually going to exit the arc. And we can see this down here. So most charts are going to define the turning point where you are going to leave the arc once again. In this case, it's defined as the radial 047 from our Heraklion VOR. So what we can do is we can select the 047 radial on our RMI. So over here we have 050, so 047, opposite course of that, 227 is pretty much here. And like that, we are now prepared to exit the arc as soon as the deviation indication is going right through the middle. So we're now at about 19.5 miles, and the station is exactly off our right-hand wing. That means we can make another right-hand turn, let's say about 10 degrees to the right, and that is going to keep us right on the arc. So now we are moving the tip of the needle above the 90-degree position again. And like that, you can see our DME is going to stay more or less constant now. So we're approaching the exit point of our arc, and we are going to turn towards 233 inbound over here, towards the waypoint Gonzo. So be prepared to start adjusting your track as it becomes necessary. And as soon as we are passing the 047 radial that we have dialed in over here, remember 227 is the opposite course of 047, you can read it by the end of the needle over here. So basically right now we're passing the exit point of the arc, and we can make that right-hand turn onto our inbound course towards Gonzo on the radial 053, which equals a course of 233 inbound. Let's go ahead and dial that in. 233, here we go. We can put our autopilot into navlog mode so that it starts tracking that inbound course. And that way we have completed to fly our 90 DME arc. Next up, as part of the approach procedure, we are going to join the 12 DME arc. So you can see exactly the same thing over here again. The turning point is defined at 14 DME, so basically 2 miles prior to the arc. Then we join the 12 DME arc, and at radial 080 we're going to exit that arc and make our final turn onto our approach. So reaching 18 nautical miles over here, at 14 we're going to start the inbound turn. I'm going to start slowing down the aircraft over here as we are slowly but steadily arriving at our destination. But you can really see it is not a great challenge to fly those DME arcs. You can do this either manually or automatically as per your personal desires. But let's go ahead and run the second example over here. So once again, at Gonzo, we're about to enter the arc. We started with a 90-degree turn onto the arc, so 233 is what we have over here. Then 90-degree turn to the left, so that becomes 143. So I'm already pre-selecting 143 on the heading buck over here, like this. This time, of course, we got to take into account that we're a little bit slower than we were on our previous arc entry. So this time we're flying 180 knots. Reaching 14 nautical miles, we can enter heading select mode, and our airplane is going to fly itself onto that arc. Now, this time, our turn is going to be a little bit more shallow than it was on the last time. So let's see at what distance we are going to end up on this particular part of the procedure. 12 DME is the target, 080 is the exit, so we can go ahead and start pre-selecting that course over here. So the end of that needle is on 080. And here we go, that 90-degree turn basically brings our station exactly to the right of us. We've reached exactly 12 nautical miles. Okay, so since the tip of the needle is already past the 90-degree position, we are already tracking outbound again. Let's go ahead and change that. For example, by a 20-degree turn to the right over here, which is going to place the tip of the needle on top of our 90-degree position again, and that way the distance is going to become less one more time. So, approaching the exit point, and once we exit, we want to track 270 inbound. The needle is exactly at 90 degrees, which means our DME is going to stay constant. And we are now approaching the exit point, so we can already start to prepare the airplane for our exit. I have my mouse over the heading box so that once we cross it, now we can make that right-hand turn. I'm going to turn towards 240 here so that we can intercept the course 270. Since the radial is coming active already, we might as well just go to navlog mode straight away. Well, and that concludes our tutorial on how to fly a DME arc manually. I hope that you learned something on this one. I hope that you appreciated it. Give me your feedback in the comments below. I'm very much looking forward to it. In the meantime, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.